So we talked about what Sony had to say about Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard. Now we're going to take a look at Microsoft's rebuttal to those statements. Now this document is 111 pages long. This video is going to be a doozy, and I'll probably break it up again into a few parts, but let's dive in right now. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when my content goes live. I greatly appreciate you watching. Diving right in, I really like this document because they have some great responses and some stuff that I need to call them on, but let's get right into it. I've highlighted a lot, like I highlight basically everything. So they talk about why they're buying the company. They say today mobile is by far the most popular gaming platform, with 94% of all gamers globally playing on mobile devices. Consumers spend far more hours gaming on Android and Apple mobile devices than any other platform, and mobile continues to be the fastest growing segment of gaming. As it stands, Xbox has no material presence in mobile, and its ability to reach gamers on mobile is impeded by Apple and Google's effective duopoly in the provision of mobile app stores. Now, the reason they're saying this is because Microsoft's whole thing is like, oh, we're buying Activision Blizzard because mobile games. And they actually are likely purchasing it partially for that reason. Of course, there's no denying that Game Pass getting Call of Duty is going to be great and a huge revenue driver for them. They have been investing in mobile. They have a cloud gaming app on mobile, and it is an area that they want to grow. There is truth there. I do think that there is definitely an investment in Call of Duty, though, that potentially they're underplaying as they open with that statement. Let's continue on. The acquisition of Activision provides Xbox with capabilities and content on mobile which it currently lacks, while creating new distribution options for game developers outside of the mobile app stores. More than half of Activision's revenues in the first half of 2022 came from the King mobile game division and its titles such as Call of Duty Mobile. Of the Activision gaming community are the scissors means they cut it out. Of the Activision's gaming community are mobile gamers. By giving people more ways to play wherever they are on the device of their choice, the merger percent cut out. Anyway, the merger makes sense for them is what I think they're trying to say. And believe it or not, in my initial reaction video, I believe I called out, I'm like, nobody's talking about King Games. King Games makes so much money for them. I think they even own Bejeweled. I think Bejeweled is in the King package. But yeah, Call of Duty Mobile is huge. It says they're saying that it accounts for half of all of Activision's revenue. That is nuts to think about. So there's a lot of money there just laying on the table, and they're hoping to get a piece of it. The merger is fundamentally pro-competitive because it increases competition in a market long dominated by Sony. Xbox plans to make the Call of Duty franchise available to more gamers in more ways than would have been the case in the counterfactual. Now, I actually think they're being truthful again there. They want to bring it to Switch. They want it to bring it everywhere. They want everybody to play Call of Duty on everything because that means more money for them. So that's why they want to do it, of course. So why wouldn't they want more people to have access? They want money from the Call of Duty franchise from everywhere. The merger is in no way about foreclosing any console provider, but will increase competition in a market long dominated by Sony. The suggestion that the incumbent market leader, Sony, with clear and enduring market power, could be foreclosed by the smallest of three console competitors, Xbox, as a result of losing access to one title is not credible. Sony's PlayStation has been the largest console platform for over 20 years, with an installed base of consoles and market share more than double the size of Xbox. Double the size. That is not that is not a small leap, to say the least. So I think it's very obvious when you look at how much revenue Xbox would swing their way, they would still not beat Sony. It's likely that Sony would still be on top. So I don't understand what all the hubbub is. I think there's something else actually going on here within the communities. don't like that Xbox can buy stuff instead of foster stuff. They really want to see something like Sony, where they work with a company for years and then acquire them. They want to see those sort of relationships. Even though Xbox works with Bethesda for years, and Bethesda did cross-platform titles and they purchased them, they even talked about their personal relationship. That doesn't count, though. And people get really mad about that. Xbox and Bethesda in the 360 era, there were exclusive Bethesda games there. So that made a lot of sense. But when you bring up those sorts of points, people don't like to hear that because it kind of disrupts their narrative a little bit. So this is actually about one thing, and I think we all know what it's about. Console fans want PlayStation to keep winning and remain on top. Because if they don't, I don't know, that threatens their ideology or something like that. What I want, and I want to be very clear here, is I want to see Xbox and PlayStation toe in toe, and I want to see each company fighting for your dollars. I love playing games on my PlayStation. I'm obsessed with God of War Ragnarok right now. I'm very excited about a lot of the games coming for Xbox, and I have enjoyed the exclusives when they come on Xbox. I really liked Halo Infinite. I really liked the Forza Horizon 5. The Forza Horizon 5. I really liked Forza Horizon 5 when it came out. I played a ton of that. But right now, we're kind of just sitting here waiting. 2022 was definitely a bust for Xbox. It's not acceptable. I hope if they purchase Activision and this deal goes through, that cadence is just nonstop. And that's how it needs to be right now. So hopefully we learn something at the Game Awards about what is on the way. The addition of Activision's content to Xbox will, if anything, increase Xbox's chances of being able to compete more successfully with Sony. And in 2023, a storm is coming. We have Avowed. In 2022, a storm is coming, but that's because we know of games like Starfield, Forza, Redfall, and then later we have games like Avowed, Elder Scrolls, Fallout. Tons of stuff coming to the Xbox ecosystem. If they can just figure out their release cadence and get things in a timely manner to their players, it's going to be hard to compete with the value of Xbox Game Pass, the value of the library that Xbox has to offer. And I think that's what Sony is concerned about. They continue about Activision's presence in the market, right? Activision's limited share in console publishing, even when combined with Xbox's own content, is less than 20 to 30% worldwide and in the UK combined. It is far from certain that the merger would succeed in challenging Sony's market power in any meaningful way. If Game Pass is more attractive to gamers, it makes Xbox, which is at third place, more competitive against Sony and Switch, and expands the overall gaming market. That's absolutely true. We all want, as customers, more competition in the market. Because when you see Sony do something like raise the price of their consoles while lowering their production costs of the console, it gives you a reason to look at the competition and say, like, well, what does Xbox have right now? In 2022, they don't have a lot of games. By the end of 2023, is that story going to be the same? How many exclusive IPs will Sony have on their PlayStation 5 console by the end of the year? Let's say we get Spider-Man next year. Is that the one big title that they have in their slate for 2023? We have Forspoken, which is a timed exclusive that will eventually come to Xbox. And then we have Spider-Man. And then further down the line, Wolverine. So if Xbox has something every quarter for major releases, or if Xbox ends up having even more than that because of this purchase, it could look much more interesting to customers. So Sony has these great single-player experiences like God of War Ragnarok, like the Spider-Man games on their PlayStation 5, and they'll continue to invest in that type of storytelling, which is awesome. It definitely gives PlayStation a unique stance in the market. Xbox is kind of becoming the everything else box. Even in the Xbox One era, I thought of the Xbox as the good third-party console because you would be able to play sort of everything on there that was third-party, but they needed to work on their exclusive lineup. It's been something that they've had to work on for a long time. And now that they've made all these purchases, how long is it going to take before they actually figure out that cadence? It's the biggest criticism that they have. Like 2022 was very light. There are great games, like Pentiment, just getting a lot of 10 out of 10s and praise, but they need to figure this out. Anyway, Let's read this last part and then we'll probably go to the next part. If Game Pass is more attractive to gamers, it makes Xbox, which is at third place, more competitive against PlayStation and Switch and expands the overall gaming market. That's very true. Activision content is popular and loved by millions of gamers worldwide. That said, neither Activision nor Call of Duty have significant market power or a status of an important input. All of the CMA's theories of harm in this case are premised on one overarching concern, that Activision's game catalog, in particular the Call of Duty franchise, is so important that it will enable Xbox to foreclose its competitors in gaming. But that is false by any objective measure. Activision's share in console publishing is very low, 10 to 20%. Activision's share based on monthly active users for console games is only 10 to 20%. Activision published only 2 of the top 20 console titles in the UK in 2021, and its share of so-called AAA console games is equally low. Even focusing narrowly on the shooter genre, Activision would not have the necessary market power to foreclose the downstream market, as the genre accounts for less than a quarter of console publishing revenues. Given the incredible array of popular and diverse gaming content that is available to market participants, no title or publisher has ever had sufficient market power in the 30 plus years of console gaming to lead to competitive foreclosure. It's a strong argument. I think they're downplaying the value of Call of Duty there, but if you actually look at what else is available, nobody's really taking into account a game like Fortnite, which is multi-platform, just raking in money, games like Apex that are tremendously successful. And it's just sort of interesting that that has been the focus, because I think there are better, stronger angles that they could have leaned on that would have given them more push and sway with the CMA than even they have now. I think they lose this case right now and the Microsoft deal goes through, and they could have played it differently and actually presented some stronger arguments. And they talk about how Call of Duty isn't unique. Call of Duty is consistently outranked in user polls on PlayStation. Example, Sony's Game of the Year poll has consistently named games other than Call of Duty as their Game of the Year or most anticipated game. And that kind of goes to back up my point, right? My point being that PlayStation creates really, really unique games. They have really cool stuff on their console. God of War, Horizon, Last of Us, the Spider-Man games, the upcoming Wolverine game. Those are console movers. Those are like the Mario games every year for Sony, right? Guaranteed to move consoles and guaranteed to sell copies. If they were to lose Call of Duty, which they're not, Call of Duty will still be available on their box, then they would still be fine. So the fact that they're still going to have Call of Duty, it's just, their argument is moot, and it was a poor structure to begin with, in my opinion. Anyway, that's it for this. This is part 1. Don't want to make these too long, the segments, but what I do is I'm going to make the full version available to members once it's recorded, ad free, so you can just watch it all in one long video. And if you just want to watch along now, piece by piece, thank you so much. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when these go up. I greatly appreciate you hanging out and watching with me. If you want to become a member, memberships are turned on. This will be posted to them. Thank you so much, everybody, for supporting me. You can click that join button right down there at the bottom. Ding, there it is. I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.